Good Thursday evening, everyone. Welcome to Getting Back to Zero. I am your host, Jeff G, talking to you from under the porch in the coal room in Cincinnati, where we have low humidity for the first time in unbelievable long time. It's been a scorcher of a summer, and it actually has cooled off a little bit. It's very nice getting ready for the Labor Day weekend. So good to see everyone who's there. I see a couple people checking in. Trying to think if there's anything exciting in the news besides the obvious stuff, but anything fun, I don't really know. I know we're going to have a little bit of a celebration, soberversary, whatever you want to call it tonight. We have a local person, as most of you know, I do come from an AA background. I don't push AA. This show and the groups this is just a sobriety support. The only program I will recommend for anyone is the program that works for that person. So you have to find what it is. I do come from an AA background. I like AA, but I also I will listen to anything, and I grab bits and pieces of everything I can find just to help with my program, and makes it a little more fun and interesting and all that. But that being said, I do have someone that I've known for a little bit, not too personally, but she's in one of my A groups, but she just celebrated 1 year of sobriety. And so I am bringing in Lorie, and I'm so glad she's here. Lorie, welcome to Back to Zero. How you doing?
Thanks, Jeff. I'm doing well. Thank you.
I'm not going to make you read anything like we have to, like I do to you in the morning. So now,
talk about that. No,
you can curse, you can do whatever you want. So, I forgot to light the little candle. Anyways, I had a sparkler all set for you. I was gonna go out and buy a Hostess cupcake and put one of those in there. But as you can see, I think the lawn got priorities over your soberversary.
Yeah. Okay. You gave me sparklers a couple weeks ago, so we're good.
So when was 1 year? It was like a week ago, wasn't it?
It was August 20th.
August 20th. Okay. So, I was thinking about this tonight, and 1 year is freaking incredible when you look at sobriety. Sometimes we hear about people that have 10 years, whatever, and a year is kind of new. That first year, I think, has got to be the hardest by far. It is a change. That's an unbelievable milestone.
Yeah.
I remember going into the weekend that I had the weekend that I had my relapse was my wife went out of town, and the same weekend that I was coming up on 1 year, which was just this past February, she was leaving town as well. And I remember just thinking, I gotta handcuff myself to a pole somewhere, lock myself because I'm not jeopardizing this thing.
Yeah.
I can't risk it. But a year is just so. When you look back, can you believe? Did you ever think a year ago in a day, did you think you could actually do this for a year?
No, because I went away for a month to the Ridge in Cincinnati, excellent program. And I stayed there for 30 days. And when you first start it, you feel very lost. At least I felt very lost. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it, but I knew I needed to do it. And I just thought, okay, Lorie, it's only going to be what you put into it. And so I did. I went in with an open mind, and I was like you, Jeff. I was just trying to hang on to every word and just to learn. And, if you would have asked me a year ago, where do you think you're going to be in a year? I would say, I don't know. You go day by day. You don't think that a year will ever come. But now that the year is here, I'm like, wow, I felt kind of easy. Once you have to have the willingness and work at it. You have to put in the work. So
the thing you have, you've got a year under your belt. You have gone through a Christmas, you've gone through a New Year's, you've gone through a birthday, you've gone through anniversary, all those things. You have at least the scheduled hurdles. You've gone through every one of them sober.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even went through just a little over a month ago. I lost my brother-in-law to a massive heart attack, and it was a lot. It happened in Michigan. I'm from Cincinnati, and so I was gone for pretty much the whole month of July, just trying to help my sister where I could and be there for her boys. So, that's a lot too to deal with,
How
but
was that? And I'm not talking the difficulty of losing a brother-in-law or a family member. Obviously, but for
yeah.
the purposes of sobriety talk, how hard was maintaining your sobriety during that time?
Um, it it was okay. It really was okay because you have to start thinking where you can be of service. Like I knew I could go to an AA meeting if I wanted to. I could hop on Zoom anytime I wanted to. Um, but I knew that it wasn't about me right now. It was like I knew that I could do it, and I wanted to be there for people that needed me. So,
How I want to hear about where you came from as far as before you went into rehab, but how would that have been, say, 2 years ago?
oh my gosh. Well, my parents died 8 and 7 years ago, and it was a big party fest for me. I couldn't handle it. I had to drink. Um, I mean, you, I remember going to the funeral and thinking, God, I can't wait till this is over with because I need a drink. So it's exciting.
What's sad with me is I think I used some of those occasions as an excuse. There was a part of me that was glad
Yep.
that this tragedy had happened because I've got no one's going to give me crap
Yep. Yep.
about drinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was even better if somebody was drinking with you because then you didn't have people watching you what you were drinking. They would drink with you. So you're like, yeah, cool. I can have more because they're not paying attention. They're drinking too. So, yeah.
I think one that really embarrasses me personally is I think it was the birth of my second, and I think I was home at 5 in the morning. I don't know, it might have been 3 in the morning. It was early, and I used the celebration of my daughter being born as an excuse to drink.
Mm,
As my wife was at the hospital and I was home alone,
mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and I had and I was that was my I'm celebrating my number two. My baby is here.
Yep.
And it's like, what a freaking load of crap,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep, that was the icing on the cake for me, Jeff, is celebrating when my grandson turned 8 and I was on the way to the birthday party and I was drinking and driving. Lucky for me, I didn't get in an accident. I didn't get a DUI. I was very fortunate to make it there. But it was the icing on the cake.
What happened, if I can ask?
Well, I showed up, and obviously I get very chatty when I drink. And so I was like, "How is everybody?" Blah blah blah. Acting my crazy self. And my son had walked out of the room and had called my husband and said, "Mama's been drinking," and he goes, "I'm gonna kick her out." And his wife said, "We can't let her drive. She's been drinking. What if she gets pulled over? What if she kills somebody? What if she gets in an accident?" And so he tolerated. I could tell something was up. I could feel the tension in the room. And I kept saying, "Where's Josh?" And it was like, "Oh, he's on a work call." He's on a work call. Well, no, he wasn't. He was talking to my husband, trying to figure out what to do with me. So And then I was there long enough that, well, I always thought I could drive, when you're drunk, you always think you can drive. But I was a little bit more sober that I felt really okay. I can definitely make it home now. And so I remember getting in the car and checking my little cup that I had, and the rest of my wine was gone. And then I knew that they, for sure, that Josh had found out. And so
I can feel the knot in my gut. I
yeah,
can just feel that when you're busted and you
yeah,
know that it's up.
yeah, yeah. And then the next morning, which I've had many of these conversations with my husband, hun, we need to talk about this weekend, or hun, we need to talk about last night. And he didn't say that this time. He just said, hun, and I went, I know. And he just shook his head and he goes, hun, enough is enough. He goes, you are going to lose your family if you don't do something about this. And I know that you've tried it before. I tried an outpatient thing, and I knew, I called it was such a joke doing that, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was a joke because I wasn't willing to put in the work and I wasn't willing to put what AA really was all about. Um, so I knew that I wasn't going to give up drinking. Um, but this time when he said, would you please, Bree and I, my daughter, have already been doing research on where to go, and they have a spot for you, and they will take you right away. And I'm like, well, I can't go right now. I said, I've got work. I've got to reschedule my clients. About excuse. And I was just like, can you give me a week? And because I had some clients that I had to tell that I was going into rehab for my drinking. And, of course, everybody's like, no, no. Well, I hit it very well.
So you waited a week before you went into rehab?
I did. I did.
Did you drink that week?
Absolutely.
Oh, I was going to say that's damn impressive if you didn't.
No, I did. And then what I had to do before I went into the Ridge, they wanted me to go do detox somewhere. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Always heard horror stories about it. And so the lady that I was talking to, Kathy at the Ridge, she goes, how are you feeling? Like, I know it's scary. And I said, I'm okay. I said, she goes, what's your thoughts? What are you thinking? And I said, well, I'm really worried about going into detox because I don't feel like I'm your typical detox person is what I thought. Because I can quit drinking, and I didn't have headaches. I never got sick. I knew I could do it. I didn't have the shakes. I just drank too much and went to bed. And so I was very fortunate there. And she had shared with me, she goes, do you think you can go 72 hours without drinking? And I said, yep. And she said, okay, because I'm going to tell you something. Your first day, you get your blood work done. And if there's any trace, you will get kicked out of the program right away. And I went, oh man, I don't want to fuck this up. So I did. And that night, I went to the store. I bought my favorite bottle of wine. And I first of all, I told my husband, I said, honey, I need to go to the store. And he goes, I totally understand. He goes, I know, hon, I don't expect you to just, I can't imagine what you're going through. You're embarking on never drinking for the rest of your life. And he goes, I said, he goes, when's the last week? And I said, this is my last night that I can drink. And then I can't drink until I leave. And he goes, okay. And so my support system is just absolutely incredible. My family wanted to do an intervention on me, and my husband said, no, that's going to send your mom over the edge. Just let me talk to her. And it would have sent me over the edge. Yeah. But I knew I needed to do it for me. Everybody wants you to do it, to get sober because they see how you are as a person. And I didn't really realize what type of person I became until I did stop drinking. And I thought, gosh, I was mean, even though I thought I was, happy, and just feeling no sense of purpose. That was really a big one. And feeling like my kids don't need me anymore. Um, and my husband travels. I'm here by myself. I can drink. Nobody's going to know. And so, yeah, it's it's been good. I was scared. Plus I think too, not only being an alcoholic just makes you stop drinking, you have to dig. You have to dig deep about yourself. Um, I never did that. Um, I
Dig deep or face yourself.
face yourself and dig deep about who you are as a person. Like, it didn't matter how I felt because, I was being a single mom during the week because dad traveled. So it didn't matter if mom was having a bad day. So you just push everything down, you and I feel like I did a lot of that. It didn't matter that I didn't feel good. I had to buck it up. I had 4 kids that I had to, help. Um, so, even when my mom got sick and just having to drop everything at a drop of a hat to go up to Michigan to help where you can help. And, it didn't matter how I felt. It didn't matter how tired I was. It didn't matter, that I was hurting. I had to get up there to help, and, my sister is just my rock. And for her to have to deal with that by herself, I had to go. And of course, as you're driving, I'm thinking, I can't wait to get there. I can drink. Oh my gosh, this is, I deserve it. I deserve it. My mom's in hospice. I deserve to drink. Um, so, so much that you can make an excuse for.
How many are in your family? You got a sister.
I have a sister. I have 2 brothers. One is, I don't know. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Um, he's also an alcoholic and an addict, um, right down to he can make meth. Um, and then my older brother, since our parents died, he doesn't really want to have anything to do with us. So my sister and I call ourselves orphans, and it's just us. So
Does she have any issues with alcohol?
no, no, she doesn't. Mm-mm. No.
Do you want to call her the B word for not having that right now?
Yeah, it pisses me off.
Yeah, no, I think that's my sister's the same way. She doesn't. from what I can tell, zero. It
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, it just doesn't affect her. And that's another thing. When people don't look at it how you look at it, you think they're looking at it as like, oh my gosh, everybody's coming over to swim today. Yay, we can drink. You know, that's what an alcoholic does.
Mhm.
They don't, my sister's not a very big drinker. Um, she doesn't look at it that way. I mean, she could take it or leave it. So,
How was your when did things turn? When did your drinking turn negative? And I maybe it I not that my drinking was ever positive, but when did it turn from more of a fun situation to a medicinal to I'm
yeah.
drinking for the wrong reasons, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my first drink was at 14. Actually, my dad gave it to me, and the funny thing is, my parents weren't drinkers at all. But when my parents divorced, my dad kind of went on the wild side, and I remember going to a bonfire, and he would make me slow gin fizzes, and I thought that was cool because I wasn't quite a freshman in high school, and I was cool because my dad let me drink.
Mhm.
So so it started out being fun that way, your typical high school, going to school dances drunk and the whole 9 yards. Um, and then um, when I got married and had children, I hardly drank at all. Um, yeah, I just didn't. And then I think, uh I started hanging out with some wrong people. They were the so-called friends. It was because they liked to party and stuff. Um, God loved my husband because he put up with it. And I look back at how stupid we were to hang out with those people. Um, they weren't good. They weren't true friends. Um, they were drinking buddies. Um, so that continued for a number of years. Um, and then it came about time when my son was graduating high school. And I think that's really when um, I remember going to like music awards, drinking before I went, um, being at graduation, having a couple drinks. You're putting your makeup on and you're sneaking drinking before you go. Um, and
Did you have social or anxiety issues? That's what I was crushed by. Did you?
yeah. Uh I get very kind of anxious when like if it's like a big party or if, I'm entertaining or even with I have four children. So four children, three married, soon to have eight grandchildren. When we all get together, it's a party. And and I and I don't mean we're partying, it's just a lot of people. So it turns into a party really quick, especially when my kids get together because they act like they're 12 when they're together. And they're all adults with their own kids. Um, so yeah, and then just, when I have twins and when my twins went away to college, um, that really stung. Um, I remember our house was the hangout house for the kids. And so, it was nothing for high school kids to be hanging out here every Friday, Saturday night. And if Chris was gone, like if they were here during the week or something, well, of course I could drink, they were all downstairs having a, good old time and stuff. Um, but that came to a halt when Nick and Trev went to school and they separated at that point, and it just really hurt, because I had one at UC and one at Ohio State, and I was like, "Oh my god, my twins aren't together anymore," and it affected me a lot more than what I thought it did.
Were they your youngest?
No, and then I got my daughter Sabrina, call her Brie. Um, oh my gosh.
I just didn't know if when they went off to school, if you kind of lost your purpose, your reason,
Oh, Lou?
your need, or
Yeah.
that you what you were needed for, your job.
Yeah, and I was really feeling it when Nick and Trev left because Bree Bree did everything. Bree could do anything. She was so involved in school. She was hardly out. She was home, but it wasn't like, oh, it's her and I now. I mean, yeah, it was her and I a lot of times, but she did soccer. She was in honor society. She was in not band, just everything, just anything choir was a big thing. Um, she was so outgoing in high school that I felt like, well, she's starting to live her life now. She doesn't need me. And that's what I thought. So I would drink. I felt like she could drive now. She didn't need me to drive her anywhere. Um, so, and if that wasn't enough, um, she went away to Chicago uh, to go to school. Um, it was funny because she said, I want to go someplace urban. And we're like, Cincinnati is urban. That's not urban enough. Um, so she went to Chicago, and that
How long ago was that?
that hurt. She graduated in 2013. So,
Is that when things kind of took off for you in the
yeah.
negative?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I would go to,
That's such a common.
yeah,
For me, it was my kids were around, but I wasn't coaching them. I wasn't
yeah,
playing ball with them. I wasn't building stuff for them and involved in everything. And suddenly I had me
yeah,
alone, and I felt sorry for myself.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I was, and that's where I turned.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's when it turned. I still, my quantity of drinking may be increased, but I was always a huge drinker. But it turned out the reasons and the results turned ugly.
yeah.
The amount was not that big of a
Hmm.
difference, but it wasn't a fun drinking. It was a
Consuming
just that was
as
that's
much as you can. Yeah. You have this much left in the bottle, and you're like, well, I might as well finish it off. Um, and before you even, when you're faced with, you're an alcoholic and are you going to do something about it? Um, you don't think that you hide the bottles. You don't think that uh, you don't feel like shit in the morning when you wake up. You don't think any of that stuff until I look now and I think, God, I feel so good. I didn't realize how shitty I felt in the morning until I I don't drink anymore.
I didn't feel hungover. I felt
No.
shaky. I felt just jittery, shaky, anxious. All the I was it was everything I felt when that I the only thing that would fix it was a drink. Was more beer.
Yeah,
And I
no, I didn't. I never had the shakes. Yeah, I didn't. Um, no, I never had that. What I did have, which I was kidding myself because I used to say I brushed my teeth too hard, which I do. My dentist tells me I do, but um, I would brush my teeth and I could throw up my coffee. My
I,
first,
I didn't realize I didn't know that was something because I used to, I mean, brushing my back teeth was gag central,
oh,
and I could
mhm.
yeah, I thought I was alone with that, and I didn't even realize it was to do with drinking until I quit drinking. I
Yeah,
just thought I had a bad gag reflex.
exactly, exactly. So,
So why did you choose rehab versus doing it yourself? Why
oh,
didn't you just
right.
stop on your own?
I knew I couldn't do it myself, Jeff. When I tried to do just an outpatient, it was like Monday, it was like a Monday through Thursday, 3 hours a night. And it to, I needed to be taken away from everything, um, for it to work for me. Um, I tried to I tried oh, I'm not gonna drink as much. I'm gonna have a glass of wine and then 2 glasses of water. I'm gonna have, w all the excuses that we all come up with, I tried all that, Well, I'll drink, but I'm gonna lie about how much I drink, you know? "Oh, I've only had 2 glasses of wine," and my family all knew it was probably more like 4 or 5.
Hmm.
So, I knew I couldn't do it by myself, and, my husband's my biggest cheerleader, and that wasn't fair to put him through that. "Hon, I need you to babysit me so I don't drink," you
Did
know?
he go through the getting mad at you and then just finally giving up, or was it always because I preferred a wife that was mad at me
Yeah,
because I could deal with that. In fact, I could use that as a reason to drink
yeah.
versus when it was the I love you and I'm worried about you. It's like, that's cheating. That's you know, you're
No.
playing on the emotional card now. That's a tougher one for me to drink
Yeah.
over.
No, he was very, just whatever you need me to do. Um, I mean, he went as far as he had over 80 bottles of scotch, and I'm talking expensive scotch. And he drinks it to have a cigar and a scotch, and he's good with just having one to enjoy the flavor of the cigar and the
Hmm.
flavor of the scotch, and oh, it's smoky Pete or what have you. And by the time I got home, and again I was gone for 30 days, uh every single bit of liquor was gone in this house, including all those scotches.
I
And
was that way with Natural Light and Cheetos. Just a case of Natural Light and then a box of Cheetos. It really brings out the crispness of the cheddar. It's a savoring experience.
right,
But
right.
you need three Cheetos, a beer, three Cheetos, a
That
beer.
well, mine was wine and potato chips, and it just plain potato chips. That was my,
Yeah.
why am I going to make dinner? I'll just eat chips and drink wine. I looked great too. I looked fabulous. I was, because I wasn't eating. I wasn't, or what I ate was like crap,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but not taking care of
When
yourself.
you went into rehab, did you still think this is maybe I'll fix this and I'll figure out how to do this, or did you have the it's over for life yet?
No, I don't think I had that yet. Mm-mm. No, I know I didn't. So I just thought I'm going. My first initial thought was I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna listen, keep my mouth shut, learn what I can learn, and maybe I'll realize that I'm not quite as bad as that other person. So I might still be able to drink. I just have to get it under control.
So you might have been hoping you could learn how to control it in rehab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there was other people in rehab when I was there that they were done. They had to quit drinking forever. I was, obviously the exception to that. If there was anyone that I just had to learn to control.
Yeah.
And if I could figure out the reasons why I drank and fix those, then maybe I wouldn't need to drink a case or more of beer a day, and I could be satisfied just drinking 6. I had hopes like that.
Yeah. Yeah. As an alcoholic, I think we're kidding ourselves if we didn't ever think that. I think we do. And
I wanted the problems gone, but I didn't want the alcohol to be gone.
I
didn't want to give that up. I wanted to give up all the shit that came with it.
Yeah.
And the harm and all the negatives. But I didn't want to give it. I mean, it just pissed me off that I have to give up that to get rid of that? Isn't there an easier, softer way, as they say in AA?
Oh, absolutely. And I think too, learning to know that you are allergic to alcohol, that was such a hard concept for me to come to terms with. I just thought, no, you're just being selfish and you drink too much and you just got to get it in control. But it helps to learn that it's that front lobe in your brain that, bad habit. And
I learned the fact that I feel a buzz before it even touches my lips. As I smell it and I'm raising it up, I feel a buzz. There's something that's up here. Obviously, that's not my liver responding. It hasn't even entered my system.
Yep.
And I'm feeling it. My wife doesn't get that. She has to drink it, and then after I'm starting to feel it in my system. I got it before it even touched.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's a perfect comparison, because if she has one beer and stops, great.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less. She's right where she wants.
Yeah.
If I don't continue to drink, I crash immediately hard. And my body reacts differently to alcohol.
Yeah.
It becomes I know there's
it's just no stopping. You cannot stop. At least I couldn't. I could not stop. I mean, that night that was the icing on the cake for me when I went to my son's birthday party, or my grandson's birthday party. I came home, I was still drinking, knowing that shit was going to hit the fan. And I say shit was going to hit the fan, but my husband, he would get real quiet, which is just as bad as getting yelled at, I think. He would get real quiet, and he was always calm about it. And I knew, I was just like, oh God, here it comes. Like, hon, we need to talk. And I'm just like, shit. But I still drank after I came home. And him.
I said just one more to myself. I probably said just one more on beer 2, and I said it just one more on beer 27.
Yep.
I just one more, and then I'll stop. Just one more.
Yep.
You know what? I still got 10 minutes before we have to leave. Well, I could do. Let me change that. We still got 2 minutes before we leave. I can do just one more, and that just continued. It never.
Go.
I never said I'm good. I've never said I've had enough. I've never said I'm content. I always wanted one more.
Yeah.
Until I passed out and couldn't do. What was your, and I think you probably answered it, but what was the thing you feared the most? And I think, the answer of never being able to drink again, I know that's what we all fear, but why? What about not drinking again? What did you fear the most about sobriety?
I think not being able to have it if you want it,
What did it give you that you were afraid you fear you weren't going to ever have again?
Say that again?
Because it wasn't just a buzz that I think for
Oh, yeah, a buzz, a habit. Like they always say it's a bad habit, but you do develop habits. I mean, mine was, you know, I'm driving home from my hard day that I had, and I'm thinking, okay, what do I still have at home? Do I need to stop at this store? My mouth's already starting to salivate because I know 5 o'clock, Lorie is drinking.
did
So,
you fear loneliness? Did you fear having to face yourself? Did
you
you
know,
fear
I just
feelings?
feelings. I just didn't. I didn't think anybody cared. I didn't think, you know, I didn't care. Like, why do I care? I have no reason to live anymore. All my kids are gone. My job is done. You know, my husband's traveling, and the thing of it was easier for me to stay here because I could travel with him. Um, but I kind of liked staying here because then I could drink as much as I wanted to drink. Now my one twin, Trev, um, I he and my daughter Bree, seen me at my worst, um, and I really damaged my relationship with him. Um, a lot of trust went away, as it did for all my children. Um, but the silence from him is it just kills you. You know, where my daughter also seen it, but you know, she approached it differently. Mom, I love you. Mom, please, this isn't good for you. And um she was a great support. Um where Trev wouldn't talk to me at all. I had an opportunity that we had family visits, and um, my kids came, except Trev, and it hurt. It
How's
hurt.
that going? How's it going now?
It's going very well. I still need to. I'm still working on my steps, um, and I need to have that conversation with him. Um, I'm sorry. Um,
He knows you're sorry though, and I'm not telling you anything. I'm talking to myself here
right, right.
because my kids didn't want to hear the words "I'm sorry."
Yeah,
They said, "Don't." We've heard it too many times.
yeah.
This is this is what state is the Show Me State? That's where I should.
I don't
That's the
know.
name of a state. The Show Me State. It's probably Ohio, and I'm living in it and making a fool of myself here. But but whatever that was me. It was don't say it, don't write it, show me. Actions is what I want.
Yeah.
But they knew I was sorry. Did he know? Does I mean obviously he knows you're sorry. Is it something that he wants? You think he just wants to see it, or do you still
I
need
think
to have the conversation?
yeah, I think he wanted to see it, and I think
Thank you, whoever wrote Missouri. I knew that. Thank
ah,
God it wasn't Ohio. Yeah, right.
okay,
Whoever put Missouri, thank you. I knew that makes sense now.
there you
But
go.
anyways, go back. So Trev, what were you saying now?
Trev, yeah.
Trev.
Yeah, when it came to my 1 year, um, he came up and gave me a big hug and said, "Mom, I'm so proud of you." And that's
Pretty cool.
pretty cool. It's very cool. Um, it just makes it all worth it. And I've learned so much about myself too. Um, just how I have to set boundaries. I'm a person that wants to help everybody and thinks I can do everything. And, um, you know,
What boundaries? What have you had to? What do you mean by that?
just when things get too much on my plate because Lorie can't say no. Um, I've learned to, if I'm feeling that feeling like, yeah, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. I'm learning to take that situation and go, okay, Lorie, you need to step back. You need to look at it. Is this going to work for you? So I think about situations more where, um, well, I just did it today. Um, I was supposed to have work earlier today, and my pastor had called and said, "Hey, Lorie, can you meet from 11 to 2 so we can go over the food for fall kickoff?" And I'm like, "Yep, yep, I can." And I shouldn't have done that. I I pushed around my day, and I should have said, "No, Josh, you should have given me more notice." Um, and I could probably make it work, you know. And it did. It worked out fine, but I have learned to step back away from that. I've learned it's okay just to say no. Um, you don't have to explain to yourself, and I always explained why because I didn't want people thinking that, oh, Laura, you know you could do that. So, and it was all about, I want to help, and I do love helping, but I would get over my head.
What's been the toughest thing this first year about sobriety?
Um, oh,
Besides everything.
yeah. Um, Staying true to yourself, taking 5 minutes of your day and allowing yourself that 5 minutes um, to give you yourself love and um, just kind of reminiscing a little bit. Um, why, yeah, there were months that was easy and there were months that were hard. Um, but recognizing that and, you know, being able to make it work for you.
What's been the biggest surprise? I guess in a positive, maybe something you didn't expect.
I didn't think I could do it. I That was my biggest surprise, yeah, is I did it and it went by fast. I was really, really surprised how fast it went. Because your first month, you're just day by day by day.
Mm-hmm.
And, and getting into a group where you can fit, like an AA group or a support group, getting into that and leaning on them if you need to lean on them. That's just so wonderful to have. Um,
Have
to
you had people come up to you that found out and surprise you that, hey, I'm in the same boat, or I'm
I,
sober too, or
I have not had that yet. I have people coming up to me saying, "My mom's an alcoholic. I don't know what to do. My brother's an alcoholic. I don't know what to do." So I've been able to just not tell them, but tell them what I did and what worked for me, and hopefully that will help them make their decision on what's good for them because what's good for me may not be good for you.
the I know we both come from an AA background and it's the steps, but do you have any defining moments or things that made it all kind of click for you? I think for me it was the when I stopped I could read the book, I could read the steps, I could do a lot of stuff by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot. But it was when I started talking with others and sharing
Yep.
and being with others that things
Yeah.
took off.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think at first you don't want to talk, or at least I didn't want to talk. I was just like, I'm just going to listen, especially when you first go to your AA meetings and you're like, you feel like you're about this big and you're the low man on the totem pole. Um, but it's, I forgot where you were asking me, Jeff. Sorry. Squirrel. So,
That's okay. It's the connection and sharing and opening up with others. I think
yeah, or Zoom, or Rise and Shine, hands
do you
down.
have are you finding other support groups outside of AA, or is that
Yeah, I have tried a few, and um, yeah, I mean they're there if I need them, but I'm I'm doing okay. At the end of the day, you got to be okay. The end of the day, just don't drink. So I know a lot of people need all of that, and I'm struggling with, I'm still on my fourth step. So, and I don't want to say struggling. I that's not right. Um, Taking the time to do it. Because I feel like I'm just like I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Like I didn't get home till 6 tonight, and then you and I talked a little bit, and that's just kind of how I feel like my day's been rolling lately. And so I haven't taken the time. Um, but like I've been to an Al-Anon. That was great. I loved that because you do want to hear how your spouse is feeling about it,
Mhm.
because it affects them too.
Yeah, I haven't been to any Al-Anon, and that's something I need to do. What about friends? Did your relationships with existing friends suffer?
No, all my friends were
It's
very.
about damn time, Lorie. We've been talking about this behind your back for years.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Um, no, I don't. I haven't heard that. I've heard like, no,
Mhm.
what? Not you? No, you're fine. I have a neighbor that said that. They were just like, no, no. And I'm like, yeah. And so I feel like, ooh, I hit that pretty well. I shouldn't have
Did
said
you
anything.
did you
But
hide your drinking at first?
uh
Or I'm sorry, did you hide your sobriety at first?
yes. Yeah. Yeah, because I thought this is my story to tell. So don't be telling everybody else until I'm ready to say something. Is
For
how.
me, I didn't tell people because I was afraid if I failed, once again,
Ooh.
that was my reason,
Yeah.
because I didn't believe it myself, so I didn't expect, I didn't want others to be let down as well or see me as a failure again. He's a
Yeah.
drunk and a failure. He can't even quit right.
Yeah.
He quits the quitting process. He's a double quitter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. So, yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you for sharing and opening up. I remember when you first came into the program, and it was kind of, I don't know, fate how a bunch of the people in our little group met you
Mm,
and out of the blue, and it's just been fun. But I hadn't heard your story. I didn't
yeah.
know what was going on, so I really appreciate you sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You too.
Last question I had for you. You have a year of success under your belt. Do you got this thing now? Or do you
just for today? No.
no, that's because that's how I feel. I thought after a year I got it.
Yeah.
But I'm still.
Yeah, I feel honestly, I feel like I do. You know when you know. Um, I just want people to be comfortable that they know they can drink around me now. Um, I don't, I look at it so totally different now. It's not, I don't, it's just not even a thought. Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to drink, go ahead. You know, I can't.
I don't want people to not act like they
Yeah,
normally act around me.
yeah,
I don't want put them away. Here comes Jeff.
hmm
Everyone switch, grab your sodas until he leaves.
yeah.
I
I
don't want to
feel
be there
like
if that's the case.
Yeah, I felt like that just recently happened to me. I didn't get invited to something because there was going to be a beer tent and they all wanted to go and drink. And
You just muted yourself, I think. I lost your sound. There you go.
oops, okay. Um, this is so weird. I have someone that I was in AA with at rehab. She's calling me right now. I haven't talked to her in I bet you 6 months. So yeah,
Well,
someone from
I'm
my
gonna. Who knows? It's crazy how this thing plays out sometimes.
it is, and you know, and it's a good feeling when, you know, at first I didn't want to share my story because I just don't like talking about myself that way. And mind you, I can talk. My family can definitely vouch for that. But to talk deeply about myself, no, no. Let's talk about you. Let's. What you,
We've got a gal in our group named Peggy who just can ba 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 and just go on and on and on. No, she's probably watching, and it's a little bit of a running gag.
yeah.
But no, I just like to make fun of her. Well, Lorie, thanks so much for opening up and sharing and opening your heart. That's incredible, and what an incredible story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's
So,
great inspiration. So, well,
yeah.
hey, don't leave. Hang in there.
Okay.
Um, Thursday evening we have Labor Day weekend. So Saturday morning we have Kathy from up in Canada is going to join us to start the Labor Day weekend off, which is going to be fun. We get to learn about her triple Lindy flip that she attempted off of some bar stool or something that ended up her in the hospital. I think she's probably regretting that she told me that because I'm having a lot of fun turning that into more. But I guess there was an incident that she's going to give us the details on. But I think she's just over a year of sobriety herself. So we're going to start off Saturday morning with her. And everyone have a great, safe weekend and keep talking. That's how we do this. Stay in touch with each other. Helps me, that's for sure. Lorie, thanks so much. We'll see
You're
you all
welcome.
Saturday morning. Take care, everyone. See ya.